The hum of the city was my daily soundtrack, a constant reminder of the life I was building for us, for Sarah. Every morning, I'd leave our quiet suburban home, kissing her goodbye with a promise to be back soon. My work as an architect was demanding, filled with late nights and high-stakes projects, but it was all worth it for her, for the future we were crafting together. I remember telling my best friend Mark over a beer one night, "She's everything." The reason I pushed so hard, he'd clapped me on the shoulder, a wide grin on his face. "You've got the perfect life, man," and I believed it. I truly did. Sarah and I had been married for 5 years. They were 5 years of what I thought was pure bliss. We'd met in college, a whirlwind romance that felt like it was plucked straight from a movie script. She was vibrant, full of life, her laughter a melody that could brighten the darkest of days. We built our home not just with bricks and mortar, but with shared dreams and whispered promises under starry nights. We talked about having kids, about growing old on our porch, watching the world go by. Our life was a beautiful painting, and I was the artist, meticulously adding each stroke, ensuring every color was perfect. Or so I thought. Lately, though, a subtle dissonance had crept into our harmony. It started small. A missed call here, a vague answer there. "Just out with the girls," she'd say, her voice a little too bright. Or, "My phone died, silly me." I brushed it off. Trust was the foundation of our marriage, and I refused to let minor insecurities chip away at it. I was busy. She had her own life. It was normal, right? But the small things began to stack up, creating a weight in my gut that I couldn't quite name. She started dressing up more, not for our date nights, which had become increasingly rare, but for these mysterious errands she had to run. The scent of a new, unfamiliar men's cologne lingered on her clothes once or twice, which she'd explained away as a sample from a department store. I chose to believe her. I had to. The alternative was unthinkable. The change was most noticeable in her eyes. The eyes that once held a universe of love for me now seemed distant, guarded. When I'd look at her, really look at her, it felt like she was looking right through me, her thoughts a million miles away. The easy intimacy we once shared, the comfortable silences, the inside jokes, they were all replaced by a polite, almost formal distance. Our conversations became superficial, skirting around any real depth. It felt like I was living with a beautiful, polite stranger who just happened to look like my wife. I tried to bridge the gap. I suggested weekend trips, fancy dinners, anything to reignite that spark. She'd always agree, but her enthusiasm felt forced, a performance for my benefit. The unease grew, a quiet storm brewing on the horizon of my perfect life. One Tuesday, everything changed. I was at the office, deep in the blueprints of a new skyscraper, when my boss called me in. "Good news, Tom," he said, beaming. "The clients loved the initial designs. They've approved everything ahead of schedule. Take the rest of the day off. You've earned it." I was ecstatic. My first thought was of Sarah. I could surprise her. We could have a rare, spontaneous afternoon together. Maybe go for a walk in the park, grab an early dinner at our favorite spot. I practically skipped to my car, my heart light for the first time in weeks. I pictured her surprise, the smile that would light up her face when I walked through the door unexpectedly. I even stopped to buy her favorite flowers, a bouquet of bright yellow tulips. The drive home was filled with anticipation. I rehearsed what I would say, how I would sweep her into my arms. I pulled into our driveway, noting with a flicker of confusion that an unfamiliar black sedan was parked a few houses down. I dismissed it. It was probably a visitor for one of the neighbors. I walked up to our front door, tulips in hand, a wide grin on my face. I put the key in the lock, turning it as quietly as I could, wanting the surprise to be perfect. The house was silent, which was odd. Sarah was usually listening to music or had the TV on. A strange feeling, a cold dread, began to snake its way up my spine. I stepped into the foyer. "Honey, I'm home," I called out, my voice echoing in the stillness. No answer. I walked further into the living room. That's when I saw it. On the coffee table, next to a half-empty glass of wine, was a man's leather wallet. It wasn't mine. My blood ran cold. My heart hammered against my ribs, each beat a deafening drum of betrayal. Then I heard it, a soft murmur from upstairs. From our bedroom, it was Sarah's voice, followed by a low, masculine laugh that was not my own. The tulips fell from my hand, scattering across the floor like shattered pieces of my once perfect life. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to pretend I hadn't seen, hadn't heard, But I couldn't. I had to know. My feet felt like lead as I climbed the stairs, each step a journey into a nightmare. The bedroom door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open, and there they were. Sarah, my Sarah, and a man I didn't recognize. The truth was no longer hidden in her eyes. It was laid bare in our bedroom, in our home, in the heart of the life I thought we were building together. The man was Mark, my best friend, the man who had told me I had the perfect life. The world tilted on its axis. The air was sucked from my lungs. Sarah's eyes widened in horror, a silent scream frozen on her lips. Mark scrambled for his clothes, his face a mask of panic and shame. But I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at her. In that single, devastating moment, I saw everything. The lies, the deceit, the stolen moments. The truth wasn't just in her eyes anymore. It was a wrecking ball that had just demolished my entire world. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I had ever heard. It was the sound of a heart breaking. It was the sound of trust evaporating. It was the sound of the end. My perfect life was a lie. And the truth, hidden for so long, was a wound from which I wasn't sure I would ever recover. Thank you for watching. It's stories like these that remind us of the complexities of human relationships. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that healing is possible. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories. We'll see you in the next video.